this is really bothering me. This is bothering me, but like, it is what it is. I just wanted to be transparent and come out with that first and foremost. I normally don't always have incredibly large pimples on my face, but here we are. All right, so um, the Amazon Prime truck is in my courtyard. I feel like it's here every day. Not do I feel like it. It is here every day, and that's what Amazon is. All right, so there's a topic that I want to bring to you, and this is just for like that listener, that one person who just needs, or maybe not needs, would like to hear this information. So for people who know what I do, or they know about like Angels in Politics, and they see it being this creative startup that wants to revolutionize the way people interact with each other on a day-to-day basis, by cultivating uh, healthy and constructive habits in which fall under focusing and strengthening your mind, body, and soul, through involving yourself in a system. And I use the word system intentionally because life is a system everywhere that you go, whether it's a workplace, whether it's a family, whether you're in a group, whether you're with a team, whether, if you have a certain goal in life, or if you're looking to go somewhere or do something, then there is a system that is in place, and you're living in the system. So you need to learn how to synchronize your own personal system with your larger group system, or your familial structure system, or your team system, and find a way to synthesize your assets, your greatest attributes, your skill sets, your the things that you're good at, so you can supplement or complement or involve yourself with a greater plan. It's almost like life is a puzzle, and you are a puzzle piece. And the way you make yourself beneficial, and the way that you are productive, and the way that we progress and help shape society for the whole planet to be in a better position, is by, it doesn't it's not by you being a superhero and you jumping out the sky, or flying in the sky, or it's not necessarily you joining the Peace Corps and you have to go to somewhere in sub-Saharan Africa and plant trees. Like, that would actually be great too, but like, it starts off with just who you are, who you are as a person. And if you are the best version of yourself, like if your name is John Smith, being John Smith 2.0 is probably better than John Smith, the raggedy ass, basic ass, limited spectrum of consciousness, lazy. I expect the world to do things for me. I'm living or giving my life up to fate, and fate will determine whether I am a successful person, whether I am a prosperous person, whether I am a prestigious person. But my own personal accountability is going to be thrown out the window because I'm a basic ass motherfucker, I and not because you literally are. This is the mindset, and want I'm passionate about having conversations, or using my channel, using my platform to discuss the importance of self development, the importance of self improvement, and also the keys, the takeaways, like what happens in your life when you go into a journey of growth and improvement. What happens to your social circle, what happens to your environment, what happens to the things around you once you've made that decision to fully commit yourself to fully commit yourself into achieving a higher consciousness, being the best version of yourself, going to the next level. I mean, you've been on level 1, you're trying to get to level 2, because there's 3 out there. There's level 4 out there. There's dominance, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but there's a dominance, there's a social dominance hierarchy as well. And where you find yourself in life is up to you. But you know, if there are certain plans that you have for yourself, you know, if there are certain goals that you have for yourself, you know, when you were a child and when you were a teenager, there was a certain aspiration or there was something that you may have always wanted to do. And if you're a young woman, if you're a young man, young is a subjective term. So you can be young and be 80 years old. So if you are a person who believes they are still in their, you know, youth, a person who's still full of energy, and even if you're not full of youth, quote unquote, I'm a firm believer in that everybody growing up had a dream, or everybody has a personal project for themselves, right? Now, your personal project may not be like Gabriel Hamilton's personal projects, which, you know, are what they are, you know, like, but like you have your own personal projects, right? You might have not necessarily plans, but you had visions, or you maybe had dreams, or you had, you know, these inclinations as a child. Whenever your imagination was free, when your social imagination was open, whenever you weren't necessarily conflicted or limited or encumbered by social norms and having your friends and colleagues in your ecosystem enforce what is right or what is normal or what is weird or not, what is, you know, permissible, what is acceptable, what is frowned upon, you know. So I think with all that being said, we kind of do lose, we lose our way, and not in the sense that people might say like, Gabe, you lost your way, like the way of, you might lose your way of, you might lose your creativity. You might lose your childlike imagination. You might lose that childlike or that creative or that internal spirit that pushes you to do things that are beyond your imagination or beyond what you can conceptualize. You know, you need to have something within you that believes in things that are beyond what is physical, beyond the beyond what is here present or presently in front of you now. I guess there's a scripture that says, base your hopes on things that are eternal, or build your hopes on things that are eternal. So when you have a dream or whenever you have grand aspirations, your body, your mind, your behavior, your energy, everything conspires in the universe to achieve what you want in life, you know. And they talk about that with the law of attraction, and they talk about that with universal alignment, with spiritual things, and all. I mean, there's, and the reason why I mention yoga and chakras, and whether it's Reiki or whether it's people just meditating, or whether it's people who just talk about the power of manifestation. A lot of these words and these sects or these ideologies are a branch of just what God does for you. Just, and then if you haven't found God, or if you know God, or if well, God is everywhere. So, you know, you might have a different name for it, or you might have a different practice as to how you reach out to Him. But God is everywhere. And once you believe that you can achieve certain things, or once you believe that you do have a plan and there is a purpose for you, and everybody does have a purpose, then that's it. You know, that's when it starts. That's when you, that's when the first change happens in your life. And there's going to be a lot of changes, and I'm going to talk a lot about my personal involvement and involvement and my maturation process, and also like the Brockhampton, like saturation process, like what impacted me, and what did I engulf myself with, what did I immerse myself in, as far as environments, ecosystems, people, elements that I read, or, you know, things that I elements that I interface with as far as reading, watching, looking at. So these types of things play into who you are and what you're going to be and where and how you're going to get there. And once once you've confirmed in your head, like, okay, this is who I am. I will achieve my dreams. I will live up to my potential. Then once that happens, you start to put aside or you start to sacrifice a lot of things that you were once doing in the past. And sacrifice is the next topic.